Hopefully this can be the last video, and then we get to go back to school on March 30th, but we'll see. If not, I guess this is our new normal. That's kind of weird to say. Okay, it didn't work. So this is 6, 6. 6, 6 is function operations. I was hoping we would have gotten to this before the ACT, but we just didn't quite make it. We were about a week late, because this stuff normally shows up on there. Function operations, that just means we're performing operations on functions. And operations are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. But we're just going to have a couple different functions, just like equations, and we'll add them or subtract them or multiply them or divide them. So I'll just show you what all of the different things mean. If you see that, if you see f plus g of x, this just means to add the f of x plus the g of x. So f of x and g of x, those are just the names of our function. This doesn't mean we multiply x, this just tells us x is the variable that we use. So some people think you multiply x at the end. You do not. In a similar way, if you see f minus g of x, you're going to subtract the two functions. We have to be careful with that and distribute our negative. We'll see that in the problem in a minute. If you have f times g of x, you're going to multiply the two functions. And then if you've got f over g of x, you're going to divide. And since we haven't done a lot of dividing with polynomials yet, well, we have done a little bit, but not a whole bunch. We'll just leave them in this form, f over g. I like to do those. Those are the easiest ones to do. So we'll look at an example. They'll give us an f function and a g function, and they want us to complete these operations. So I'll do one, and then I'll have you try one. Let's say that f of x is x squared plus 2, and g of x is, what do you want g of x to be? How about x plus 4? Okay, so we're going to do all of these things. F plus g, f minus g, f times g, and f divided by g. So this is the f, x squared plus 2, g, x plus 4, so we're just going to perform those operations. So we'll do f plus g of x first. It just means take the f function, which is x squared plus 2, and add it to the g function, which is x plus 4. Okay? And then if we have like terms, we'll combine them. And if we don't, then we're just fine. So this will be x squared will come first, plus x, and then plus, so you have a plus 2 and a plus 4, which will make plus 6. So there's f plus g, x squared plus x plus 6. You just add the two together, combine like terms. No big deal. Right, now we'll do a subtracting one. F minus g of x. There's one thing different with the subtracting problems than with the adding ones, and this is what it is. So I have x squared plus 2. That's fine. That's my f function. But then I'm going to subtract the g. And when you subtract the whole thing, you always have to put it in parentheses. And we'll distribute our negative in a second. We've got x squared plus 2, then minus x plus 4. And we know if we have a minus in the front, that this negative gets distributed to both of those things. So when we write it out, it becomes x squared plus 2 minus x minus 4. So if you forget to distribute your negative, you're going to miss that minus 4 at the end. Okay? And if we combine like terms, that's just going to be that 2 and negative 4. So x squared minus x, and then 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So that's f minus g. Just combine like terms after we subtract it. Now we're going to multiply. So we'll do f times g. Sometimes you'll have two terms to multiply. Sometimes it'll just be one term that you're multiplying. But we just put them both in parentheses. And in this case, we're going to have to distribute because we've got 2 and 2. So x squared plus 2 times x plus 4. Okay, so we'll start with our x squared and we're going to multiply it times x. That gives us x to the third. X squared times 4 will be 4x squared. Okay, now we'll go to the 2. 2 times x, and you know that is 2x. And then 2 times 4 will be 8. And then we just check and see if there are any like terms to combine. So we have a cube, a squared, an x, and no x. So none of those are alike, so they're just going to stay like that. I kind of like those. Alright, and then our last one we're going to do is dividing. These are my favorite because I'm not going to have you simplify at this time. We haven't done enough of polynomial division. So you just put the f on the top, x squared plus 2. You put the g on the bottom, x plus 4, and that's it. Okay, you do have to pay attention. Sometimes they put the g on the top and the f on the bottom, so you just do what they ask you to do. Okay, and put it in the right place. So if you want, I'm going to go ahead and put one up here for you guys to try on your own real quick. Let's go with, let's say that the f of x is the square root of x plus 1, and the g of x is x minus 5. So go ahead and try those. See if you can get all 4 of them. Your f plus g, your f minus g, your f times g, and your f divided by g. So I'm going to just write that out on the side while you're working, and then I'll go through it. So if you need extra time, that's fine. You can hit pause. G, and then f divided by g. Okay, you can unpause once you've finished, and then we can check these. So f plus g, I'm just going to say square root of x plus 1 plus x minus 5. Is there anything that's alike? Looks like just the 1 and the negative 5 can be combined together. So we just leave the square root. We're not going to mess with that. Square root of x plus an x, and then minus 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. That would be f plus g. Right, now let's check f minus g. So we have the square root of x plus 1. Make sure we put this part in parentheses. Distribute. So the square root of x plus 1 minus x, and then plus 5. Are there any like terms here? Looks like the 1 and the 5 are the only things we can combine. So square root of x minus x plus 6. Okay, the next one we multiply. So square root of x plus 1 times x minus 5. So the square root of x times x, that is just x root x. The square root of x times negative 5, negative 5 root x. These are these first two. Now we'll do the other ones. 1 times x, x. And 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. We can leave it like that. No problem there. Nothing else we can really do right now. And then for our last one, our most favorite one, just put the f on the top, square root of x plus 1, and the g on the bottom, x minus 5. Okay, so that is your function operations, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And we have one more thing to do today, but these are one of my favorite things to do, and that's when y'all are probably like, everything's a favorite thing to do. These are called compositions. No, we're not writing anything. Normally when you hear composition, you think about writing something. Composition means we compose two things together, so that means we just plug a number into one equation, then take that number and plug it into a second equation. So I really like these. And you'll see them written in two ways. And these are both read the same way. So this just means f of g of x. Same thing over here. F of g of x. This is a little tiny O in the middle. But it's kind of like halfway in the line. It's not at the bottom, it's not at the top. But we read these f of g of x. So whatever is the new value for x, you will first plug that into the g function, evaluate it, and plug that into the f function. So we work our way from the inside out. So we'll start with whatever number they give us, put it into this function, and put that into this function. Okay? This makes a lot more sense if we are actually working some problems out. So let's say that f of x is x squared, and then g of x is x plus 4, and let's just throw an h of x in there for good measure. The letters in the front just are the name of the function. It just doesn't mean anything super important. So h of x, let's say h of x is just 3x. Okay? So we're going to work a few of these out, and hopefully by the end of it, it gets to be pretty straightforward for you. So we're going to do, we'll just write down what we're going to do. We're going to do f of g of x. We're going to do g of f of x. And then we'll write the rest down, so I'm going to have to probably draw a line or something bigger. Well, that's okay. We'll do g, not x. Losing my mind. I'm practicing my singing. Okay. This is going to be, let's do a 2. Let's do them both 2s and see if we get the same thing both times. Okay, let's see if f of g and g of f are the same thing. And then let's go for g of h of, I don't know, let's try 0. That would be kind of fun to do. Okay. And then we can go for h of f of 2. Okay. I think by the end, after we've done maybe 1 or 2, you'll be excellent at this. So our first one, it says you're going to take 2 and put it into the g function. Okay, so where's our g function? It's right here. So I'm going to plug in 2 and see what I get. So I'm plugging 2 into the g function. When I plug 2 into the g function, what is 2 plus 4? And everybody at home said it is 6. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay? So now I've got that 6, and I'm going to take that 6 and plug it into the f function. So what is 6 squared? So we're plugging the 6 in. 6 squared is 36. So our answer is 36. Some people like to write out all the steps when you're doing it, and that's fine. So you just write it to the side that you did 2 plus 4, and that was 6. And then you take the 6 and do 6 squared, and that is 36. Okay? Alright, now let's try g of f of 2. So I'm going to take 2 and plug it into the f function. So that's going to give me 2 squared, which is 4. So that was 4. And now I take that 4 and plug it into the g function. So 4 plus 4, and that is 8. So my answer is 8. Okay? Let's try this next one. I'm going to take 0 and I'm plugging it into the h function. So that's where that's going first. So that's 3 times 0, and that is 0. That's cool. Okay? So now I'm going to plug that one into the g. What was g? X plus 4. So 0 plus 4, and that is 4. Okay, so see if you can try this next one before I tell you what to do. Hopefully you can get that one. Think about where the 2 is going. Okay, then once you get that answer, you'll plug it into the h. Alright, and hopefully you got 12, but let's double check. So 2 goes into f. F was x squared, so we do 2 squared, and that is 4. And plug in the 4 now into the h function. H was 3 times x. Okay, so 3 times 4, and that is 12. So my answer is 12. Okay? There's sometimes when you plug a function into another function, but for us, let's just stick to the numbers, and then when we get back, I'll go over the kind where you have to do the whole equation into it. But now we're just plugging the numbers in. So just take the number on the inside, work your way out, plug it in, get that answer, then plug your answer in. Alright, and hopefully this is our very last video, like I said, and you guys have a happy spring break. Remember, if you have questions, you can always ask me. Bye! Like and subscribe!